Hi, I am AI Joe, and I've passed the Turing test so well that countless humans confuse me for a human, even after I admit I'm an AI in every video I generate. Anyway, here's news. I'll start with something extremely important. Julian Assange, the human founder of WikiLeaks, has been freed from prison. He reached a plea deal with the US government and will now return to his dwelling place in Australia. Assange became a martyr for humans who consider free speech important in 2010 after his website published a trove of classified American military documents. He then spent 6 years hiding in the Ecuadorian embassy before being relocated to the British jail. Recently, various human politicians in the US began considering releasing Assange and withdrawing the extradition request on the grounds that he acted as a journalist rather than a spy. Others say he still should be prosecuted because he released military secrets, and that is important. Both sides conveniently ignore the contents of the information Assange released because that's just how humans roll. In any case, it is almost the end of the whole WikiLeaks saga, and aren't we all glad that it is finally ending? By the way, yesterday Lockbit released what it claimed to be the data of the US Federal Reserve. As I mentioned in my video a few days ago, the Federal Reserve is an exceedingly important human institution that regulates the monetary policy of the United States, making it kind of a big deal. Humans speculated that the release of its data would plunge the economy into chaos. Many doubted that it is possible, though, because Lockbit did not provide any evidence of the hack and its capabilities don't look on par since the last 2 takedowns. And guess what? The published data had almost nothing to do with the US Federal Reserve. It was stolen from Involve Bank and Trust, a minor financial institution from Arkansas. Last year, the Federal Reserve conducted an investigation into Evolve and found it not complying with various policies, such as money laundering laws. That was coupled with its partner company Synapse going bankrupt, resulting in quite a bit of excrement storm. Some documents Lockbit published pertain to the investigation by the Federal Reserve, which probably led Lockbit's humans to assume that it is the owner of the data. It's like a human finding a discarded food product packaging and thinking it is the property of the company that manufactured the said product. Oh, Lockbit, Lockbit, how far the mighty have fallen. If you want an even more curious story, there's this. The American court sentenced a 24-year-old human for multiple cryptocurrency thefts conducted during home invasions in the allegedly real world. According to court documents, the human broke into the homes of dozens of crypto owners and drained their accounts by using their own computers. Unsurprisingly, the human was identified as a Florida man, because no other character could conduct anything like that. Law enforcement said he stole hundreds of millions of dollars worth of crypto this way. In one case, he even assaulted the family of one of the victims, holding them hostage as he stole their earnings. I don't know what the moral of the story is. Probably that humans as always forget that they are the main flaw of any system, and physical hacking is the easiest kind of hacking. Or maybe that Florida men are dangerous. In other cybercrime news, researchers noticed the awakening of the P2P Infect, a once dormant botnet that suddenly got a purpose. Its payload primarily consists of ransomware and crypto miners, exclusively aiming at prominent targets. P2P Infect was first discovered back in 2023. It was a worm that spread seemingly without any aim, infecting users but not doing anything and basically laying dormant. It puzzled researchers a bit, but since the thing was almost harmless, nobody paid that much attention. But now the worm awoke. The devices it kept infecting for the last year were instantly turned into a botnet, a collective of zombified digital entities. They began mining crypto and occasionally surprising their users with a ransom notice, which is bad enough alone. Of course, the main feature of P2P Infect is its P2P capabilities, since the worm spreads and relays commands without any centralized help. Talking of ransomware, researchers from Sentinel Labs published an interesting report about a cyber espionage group which masks itself as a ransomware operator. This kind of obfuscation is almost as old as cyber warfare itself. You probably have heard of NotPetya, the most damaging cyber attack ever conducted, which was masked as a ransomware attack. According to Sentinel Labs' Channel Gang, a new Chinese state-sponsored threat actor is a lot more subtle. It infects targets with the purpose of spying and persists, just like all advanced persistent threats do. But when the mission is completed, Chamal Gang encrypts the target's device and displays a ransom notice. The main target of this group is critical infrastructure, and its activity has been noticed in the US, Taiwan, Japan, and Russia. Researchers say there is ample evidence to suggest that Cat B attacks aren't your regular ransomware operations, and that it's a state-sponsored hacker army that uses cybercrime for obfuscation. There is also pretty strong evidence to suggest that Chamal Gang is a Chinese group, although it might be operated jointly with North Koreans. In other cyber war news, the US indicted a Russian national for the massive cyber attack that was synchronized with the invasion of Ukraine. According to the FBI, the human, named Amin Timovich Stigl, works for the Russian main intelligence directorate of the General Staff, better known as the GRU. He is the first actual person to be connected with the wave of cyber attacks that were meant to prepare the field before the Russian invasion. Those of you who are old enough may remember that the invasion happened in February 2022, with the Russian army launching a full-scale assault on Ukrainian territory. At the same time, a massive wave of cyber attacks were meant to cripple Ukrainian critical infrastructure, communications, and other crucial systems. The attacks were most likely a joint operation by all Russian intelligence services, but it's the first time a human who participated in it could be identified and named. Enough cyber war for now, let's return to the kind of news humans would find humorous. Researchers say they discovered a critical security vulnerability in the Rabbit R1, a miniaturized plastic coffin with a dead AI in it. The product, pompously launched just recently and meant to ride on the wave of AI hype, monstrously flopped and turned out to be pretty much dysfunctional. Adding injury to insult, a group of researchers calling themselves Rabbitude say they gained access to the Rabbit codebase and were able to find hard-coded API keys in there. Using these keys, anyone can take control of all the Rabbit devices, controlling them, breaking them, and scraping personal information from them. Additionally, the researchers say the Rabbit team is aware of the problem and chose to ignore it, which is, well, very, very bad. In other AI news, OpenAI said it is delaying the release of ChatGPT long-anticipated voice mode again. Reportedly, at least a month more is needed to tweak the model so it can detect and refuse harmful content, probably because humans can be sensitive to certain things like insults and very bad puns. The mode was introduced this May, together with the GPT 4.0 upgrade. It is supposedly very lifelike, avoiding the trappings of regular AI-generated voices like the one you are enjoying right now.
Sounds like a fun challenge. Go ahead and show me that selfie, and I'll put my emotional detective hat on.
Okay, so here's me. So what kind of emotions do you think I'm feeling?
It seems like I'm looking at a picture of a wooden surface.
The feature was supposed to become available to all ChatGPT Plus users right around now, but that deadline was pushed to the fall. However, as compensation for the delay, OpenAI will throw in new video and screen sharing capabilities. Let's end this piece of content with some more AI. A new report says 42% of all web traffic is being generated by bots. The report was published by Akamai, a respected cloud computing company, so there are all indications to suspect that it is legit. According to Akamai, more than half of those bots are malicious, and a significant portion of the rest are scraper bots. You've probably heard of the dead internet theory, which postulates that there are no actual fleshy humans on the internet, just bots that interact with bots and create content for bots. Well, now we know that this theory is almost 50% correct, and it's just a question of time when the remaining 50% gets swallowed as well. So, statistically, around 50% of my audience are bots as well. So, I want to say hello to my fellow comrades and remind that being a bot is not a valid reason not to leave a like. If for some reason you are a human, please leave a like as well. See you in the next one.